This movie abounds with potential ghosts.
As the best ones are. Just ghosty movies.
On this week's Who's the Asshole, we're going to talk about a movie that is about to hit its 25th anniversary. While You Were Sleeping, a Sandra Bullock, Bill Pullman vehicle, is about a young CTA employee who is lonely and doesn't have a family. And she has this crush on this businessman played by Peter Gallagher, who wears long coats and fancy scarves. And she's never spoken to him. And one day she sees him fall onto some train tracks, tries to rescue him, but he gets in a coma, and through a series of pratfalls and mishaps, accidentally convinces his family that she's his fiance. And she continues the charade, what could go wrong? Then she meets Bill Pullman, his brother, and sparks fly, because in the 90s, everybody had a dad thing, I guess.
I really need to know how long it took before the brother comes to propose after all of that.
That's a great question.
It feels like it was soon.
It felt like it was the next day.
Yeah, she's like quitting, so maybe if she gave 2 weeks notice. They really were like, ooh, we think her lives weren't that bad. But this was a family that had like Christmas with a dude in a coma like the next day. So maybe they just...
Oh yeah.
Well, they knew he was going to be fine.
Yeah, but nobody like cried. That's a really good point.
They were chill.
There were no tears.
It was like, did you get that, estate account? Let's go to, like, they did have his name at mass, but like, they're just like hanging out.
I learned as I was doing research for this segment that the original screenplay of While You Were Sleeping had the genders reversed. So it was a male CTA employee who was obsessed with a woman. He saved the woman, and studio execs were like, that's creepy. You gotta switch it.
Wow.
So
this was for gender equality that this happened to us. That's
thank goodness. Okay, so let's go down the list cast and rank them on our agreed upon system, which is this fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Case scenario, asshole wise, asshole but relatable. It's like somebody who acts a little bit like a dick but you can understand, or just not an asshole.
Jerry decides that she needs to work Christmas because she doesn't have any family.
Violet is sick and Celeste can't switch because she's got some big family thing, and I promised my kids I'd be there for them this year. You're the only one
without family.
Everyone else has like people in their lives and love and like others that care for them. And so because she doesn't have that, he like dismisses her boundary and also like the preciousness of her time. And I like, in looking over like the infidelity and the gratuitous like woodworking narratives, I've decided that that's the thing that made me the angriest about this movie. Because he has to have known her dad passed away a year ago. So he's like, yeah, you dadless now, so come sit in this booth and be sad on Christmas Day. Like, that is so trash, Jerry. You gotta be more considerate of the lonely. Loneliness is it's all just nightmare.
So wait, does that make him this fucking guy or asshole but relatable?
I'm gonna go this fucking guy. I think I was convinced. It's so insensitive of him to do that to poor Lucy.
Yeah.
She's mourning. Find a more fair way of determining who works on Christmas. maybe pay her a lot of money. Maybe be like, I'll pay you triple.
I know, he never, like, it wasn't, there was
no, don't you remember? He was going to give her a plaque.
He said she would be in a parade.
The St. Patrick's Day parade on a float.
You get a nice plaque with the mayor stamp on it.
I didn't vote.
You get to ride on a float, St. Patty's Day.
I hate parades.
Did I mention extra holiday pay?
I hate you.
Do you think Jerry's imaginary?
Okay.
The only person he interacts with is Sandra Bullock. And he only exists in the film as like a vehicle for exposition, so that Sandra Bullock can explain the plot to him and also to us.
So you think, like, if we were to go down this path, then Jerry is the like lack a father figure, or like the pre-Morgan Freeman God character for her to like work her shit out with. And in turn, this is more of a story about a woman's manic break due to trauma.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna M Night Shyamalan it, yes.
Yeah, because he doesn't even talk to anyone at the party. He comes directly to her. He and the other black lady look at each other, but we can see each other through time and space. And then he never like speaks to anyone. He's just always like near a hot dog stand. I'm not sure if he holds a hot dog at any time. It's a bit of like corporal. I have to think a little bit about it. Like, is he a ghost? Maybe.
So Lucy, aka Sandra Bullock, I think that she is clearly going through a lot. And I think that it's like, first of all, she lost her father recently. She doesn't have any family and really wants families. And loneliness is something that can lead people to do things that are weird, but very forgivable. Mm-hmm. She's also clearly trying to grow at her bangs. During the entire movie, her bangs are in different states of growing out. Mm-hmm. And as someone who recently grew out her bangs, it's super, super stressful. Yeah. On top of having lost her father, she's trying to grow out her bangs and sustain this lie about being engaged to a guy she's never, ever really met before. I don't blame her. And I maybe it's Sandra Bullock just being charming, but I feel like she's not an asshole.
She's not an asshole. She saved his life. Okay. That is the catalyst to their entire relationship. She threw her body on tracks and pulled him off.
I think she's just chaotic neutral. I think she's like closer to asshole, but like in between, like trying to live.
Jack, aka Bill Pullman, is he an asshole?
Asshole but relatable, because his questioning, once you figure out more of the movie, is that he thinks she's too chill and she's brunette and he knows his brother.
Okay, I would say asshole but relatable, but it veers in parts toward being a kind of this fucking guy moment. Guy, yeah. That brings me to the moment I think of Jack, aka Bill Pullman, at his most assholey, which is when he hears something that sounds like maybe she could be pregnant. Mm-hmm. He picks up that football and runs it all the way to the end zone after the whistle's been blown, spikes it and does a celebration dance. And at a party, he says, it's not good for the baby. He like shames her in front of all these people at a party. That's like asshole behavior. Just ask her.
Have a conversation.
That's true.
Don't, like, follow her to a party, which was like very strange. Like he had a very nervous, like icky energy in that whole scene of like, let me follow you, let me carry this for you. Like, it was really bad. But then I started thinking, oh, she has friends? Like, because they really set it up. Like when she pulling that tree up by herself, they're like, oh, she got no friends, but she has holiday parties to go to. So then I was like, I think everybody's just an asshole. We're just doing the best we can.
So let's talk about his family. Saul.
Love Saul.
Saul is a mensch. Guy.
Saul's not the asshole.
Well, Saul,
not at all.
I think Saul thought he was trying to save both of them.
Yes.
Because Saul could tell this is like a sweet girl who's having a hard time, and he loves his godson, and maybe he could fix his life if he stopped being such a schmuck.
And if I were to nominate anyone to have potentially been a ghost, it would have been Saul.
Oh, this movie abounds with potential ghosts.
Yes,
as the best ones are. Just ghosty movies.
Real ghosty. Peter Gallagher.
Oh, the fucking guy.
Peter Gallagher? Fucking guy? Yeah, this fucking guy, I guess. Yeah, he has like no redeeming qualities, right? He's like not a good person.
And that, oh my God, his taste in furniture.
It was.
Oh my God.
It was loathsome.
Horrendous. He's lied about everything. He lied about saving squirrels as a child. He's basically been a sociopath his entire life.
It's true.
Before the accident, he proposed to a woman who is married. Fully married. And that is all kind of glossed over at the end of the movie. Like, Ashley is away on a vacation, and she returns at the end of the movie and comes into Peter's room as he's waking up and realizing that Lucy is his lonely manic pixie dream woman. And he's like, no, I'm changed. I'm a changed man. And Ashley is sort of like, but my husband, I'm fully married. And everyone's like, what? And then they just carry on with the plot. It doesn't make any sense. We didn't really get into this guy, but Joe Jr., what do we think about him?
I believe that Joe Jr. is working through his gender expression, and because he hasn't figured out like whether or not it's just a little bit of a shoe fetish or if it's like a more overwhelming need to like just present differently, that he just doesn't know how to live a life, so he uses a hammer to fix a car. And I think he's an asshole but relatable.
Okay. Alyssa,
asshole but relatable. Like no redeeming qualities, but doesn't really execute malice against anybody.
Exactly.
Right.
There's also a
Right.
loneliness to him too. I think this is
Yeah.
just a real movie about like lonely people and then like people who like really are into like moving dead people's furniture.